All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin. We are doing lesson 416. How can I use growth? Graphing a line without an XY table, okay? So that's what we're going to start doing today. You have now used your knowledge of growth patterns and figure 0 to create a tile pattern and XY tables directly from rules. So if I give you a rule, you should be able to make a table pretty quickly without having to actually plug in values. You should also be able to create a tile pattern from a rule. You have also looked at graphs to determine the equation of a rule or a rule for the pattern. Today you will reverse the process and use the equation to create a graph without the intermediate step of creating an XY table. So that's the challenge, is we're going to go from tables, from graphs, equations directly to graphs and back and forth, okay? So here we go. For each of these problems, we're going to do two things. Number one, on this graph, and you should have these on the handout. So again, if you haven't already, please print out the handout for 416. 416, you do have these handouts on there. You can do the work directly on the handouts, or you can do it on a separate piece of paper, but we're going to use that handout for today. For each of these graphs, you're going to write a rule and describe how the pattern changes and how many tiles are in figure 0. So I want you to do both. Write the rule, and then describe how the pattern changes and how many tiles in figure 0. Okay, so let's work on this one. Okay, I'm going to work with the first one together. So remember, our rule, since it's linear, is y equals mx plus b, where m is your what? M is your growth. And b is what? It's a number of tiles, at least this is what we're used to, number of tiles in figure 0. Number of tiles in figure 0, okay? So let's look at this first one. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think the equation for this first graph is? Take a second, write it down when you think you know it. I do want all of you to try it. So even those of you who are like, no, I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to do it. No, please write it down, because even if you get it wrong, the more you try it, the more you're learning, okay? If you just sit there patiently and let me do the work for you, let me do the thinking for you, you're not learning, okay? So write it down. Okay, here we go. So I do keep the y the same, but instead of m, I want to see my growth. Remember, growth is how many more tiles am I adding? Now there's a great benefit. They already made what's called a growth triangle for you, which shows that when I went up one figure number, I grew by how much? 2. And if I did that again, I'd go over 1, I'd go up 2 again, and I get it. So my growth here is 2. Then I bring down my x, which is just the figure number, plus, and how many times in figure 0? Now, if you look carefully here, figure 0 is right here, right? And this is figure 0. I go up to find how many tiles. There's my tiles. Now, some of you may have heard or may be familiar with the other name for this. This actually has a name where this line crosses or intersects the y-axis. This right here is also called the y-intercept. Y-intercept. And the y-intercept is kind of the same thing as how many tiles are in figure 0. And the same thing you see here is y equals 2x plus 2. So my equation, y equals 2x plus 2. That's the first part. Now I've got to describe how the pattern changes. So that's kind of my growth. So my growth, what's happening here? I am adding 2 tiles each figure. And then how many tiles are in figure 0? Okay, figure 0, 2 tiles. Cool? All right, so now what I want you to do is I want you to try it on this one. So if you would please go ahead and write an equation for this graph, and then I want you to please go ahead and tell me what is happening with the growth. Got it? Be careful here. Go. And when you're done, unpause it and we'll check, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's try it out. Try it out. Y equals mx plus b. All right, I need to find my growth. So I go here and I can make a growth triangle right here. Cool. Did you? Do you see those 2 points? I just go up straight across from this point right here and up to this point right here. Now here's the thing. You go, oh, went from 3 to 7, so I'm growing by 4. But there's one catch here. Notice this. How many figures did you go up? You went over 2 figures from here to here, and then went up 4. So if 2 figures goes up 4, how much would 1 figure be? Well, you could have gone here and gone over and up 2 and gotten to this and then gone over and up 2. So my growth here is actually, again, 2. So y equals 2x because I'm growing every 2, I go 4, so that's the same as 1 going up 2, all right? And then plus b. What is b? My figure is 0. Figure 0 is here, go here, it is 3. That is also my y-intercept, so 2x plus 3. So my growth, adding 2 tiles each figure, and figure 0 has 3 tiles. Okay? One more that we're going to do together. Here we go. This next one, and this, you notice this is letter D. Okay, so I did jump to this one because I wanted to practice letter D. Got it? I want you to pause the video and write me the equation and notice what the growth is. And when you're done, please unpause it. All right, so let's see. Here we go. Y equals mx plus b. And listen, you don't always have to write y equals mx plus b. Okay? I do it because I like showing you the process and how we're processing it. So y equals the growth. Well, look at this triangle here. Goes over 1 and it's changing by 2, right? So you can say y equals 2x. Here's the problem. Look at this one. 2x. Now look at this one. Going over and up 2, over and up 2. So 2x, if this were 2x, it would be going over and up 2 and over and up 2, but it's not. It's going down. So how would I show that it's going down? -2. So y equals -2x because it is going down, so growing down 2. Okay, that's a big difference there to pay attention to. Okay, and then plus b, what is my number of tiles in figure 0 or my y-intercept? 8. So plus 8. Okay, so my growth, how would you describe the growth? It is decreasing by 2 tiles each figure. And then figure 0, 8 tiles. Cool. That's a weird tiles, but you got what I mean, okay? All right, so that is this part. Your task now is you're gonna do the same thing for these last 3, okay? So the video ends here, but you are going to finish working on these 3 problems here. Be careful, be careful. Now, all the information that you need is on here. You have ways to get the information, okay? This is kind of a challenge. This is a challenge. Let's see if anyone can get all 3 of them right. How many of you can get all 3 of them right? Okay, give it a shot, try it out. You're gonna finish these up, and again, you can write it on your handout or you can do it on a separate piece of paper, but that's your task for today. Cool? Tomorrow we will finish these problems 55, 56, and 57. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow.